Transparency. 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 So, let's talk about the word transparency. It is a noun, and in common usage, it refers to the quality of being clear and honest in information, communication, or behavior, especially when dealing with facts or intentions that might otherwise be unclear or hidden. This concept can apply to various contexts, such as business, e.g., transparent financial reports, politics, e.g., a leader's transparent policies, or even personal relationships, e.g., being transparent about one's feelings. What's interesting is that transparency has become a highly valued trait in many modern societies, where people expect truthfulness and openness from institutions, leaders, and individuals. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word transparency, along with their respective contexts. In a formal setting, such as a government meeting, transparency would be essential in order to rebuild public trust after a scandal. For instance, if a politician were to say, "I understand that there have been concerns about our financial dealings, and I assure you that we will provide full transparency into our budgeting process moving forward." This sentence conveys a sense of accountability and commitment to openness. In a casual conversation between friends, someone might say, "I love how transparent you are about your diet. It's really helpful to know what's working for you." Here, the word transparency is used in a more informal way to describe someone who is open and honest about their experiences. This sentence shows that transparency can be a valuable quality even in everyday life. In a business or academic setting, researchers might discuss the importance of data transparency in order to ensure the accuracy and reliability of scientific findings. For example, they could say, "Our study's results rely heavily on the transparency of our methodology. So we're happy to share our data with colleagues who want to replicate our results." This sentence highlights the significance of openness and clarity in conducting and presenting research. So, you're trying to figure out what transparency means. Well, think of it like this. When something is transparent, you can see right through it, without any obstacles or secrets getting in the way. The main characteristics of transparency are that information is freely available, easily accessible, and nothing is hidden from view. It's kind of like having a clear window into how things work or being able to ask questions and get straight answers. Similar concepts might be honesty or accountability. But in the context of information or communication, transparency is more about making sure everything is visible and open for everyone to see and understand. In practical terms, transparency is often used in business or government settings where people want to show that they're being fair, honest, and truthful in their dealings with others. Optimization. 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 Let's talk about the word optimization. As a noun, optimization refers to the process of making something the best it can be by using the most efficient methods or resources available. In common usage, you might hear people say that a company is optimizing their production line to increase efficiency and save costs, or that an athlete is optimizing their training routine to improve performance. What's important to note is that optimization often implies a goal of achieving maximum value or effect with minimum waste or effort, so it's not just about making something better, but really the best it can be. In a meeting at the university's mathematics department, Professor Thompson mentioned to her colleague, I've been working on an optimization problem for our new logistics system to minimize fuel consumption and reduce emissions. It's been a real challenge, but I'm hopeful we'll see significant improvements soon. Her colleague, Rachel, nodded in understanding and asked, "That sounds like a lot of work. What kind of techniques are you using?" Meanwhile, at the coffee shop down the street, two friends, Alex and Maddie, were discussing their plans for the day, with Alex saying, "I'm trying to optimize my schedule so I can finish all my tasks on time. But it's hard when there are so many interruptions." Maddie chuckled and replied, "Tell me about it. Sometimes I feel like I'm just winging it and hoping for the best." In a presentation at a marketing conference, CEO Jane Smith highlighted the importance of data-driven optimization in their company's digital campaigns, stating, "Our latest analysis shows that with the right strategies and algorithms, we can achieve a 25% increase in conversions, which would have a significant impact on our quarterly profits." So you want to know about this important concept? Well, let me break it down for you. Imagine you have a bunch of tasks that need to be done in the most efficient way possible. Like planning a trip, you have a map and you want to find the shortest route between 2 points. That's basically what optimization does. It helps you figure out the best way to do something by using all the information you have, so you can get from point A to point B as quickly or with the least amount of effort possible. It's like having a super smart assistant that analyzes all the possibilities and gives you the most effective plan, which is really useful in many areas, such as business, finance, logistics, or even just planning your daily schedule. Indigenous. 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 So, let's talk about the word indigenous. As a noun, it refers to people who have lived in a particular region or country since time immemorial, often with their own distinct culture, language, and traditions. In common usage, we use this term to describe groups of people like Native Americans, Aboriginal Australians, or Maori New Zealanders, folks who were living on their land long before European colonization arrived. Now, here's the interesting part. When using indigenous, it's essential to be sensitive to power dynamics and historical context. It's not just a label. It's about recognizing the rights, experiences, and struggles of communities who've been marginalized or oppressed. So, when you hear someone say indigenous peoples or indigenous languages, remember that it's not just about the word itself, but also about showing respect for the people behind it. Here are 3 example sentences using the word indigenous with different contexts. In a formal setting such as a university lecture on cultural diversity, you might say, "The professor highlighted the importance of preserving the traditions and customs of indigenous communities around the world, noting that their unique perspectives can greatly enrich global understanding." In this context, the word indigenous is used to refer to native or original people living in a particular area. In a casual conversation with friends at a coffee shop discussing social justice issues, you might say, "I'm so inspired by the indigenous rights movement and the way they're using activism and art to raise awareness about environmental degradation." Here, the word indigenous is used informally to refer to people who are native to an area, often with connotations of being connected to a specific culture or land. In a business or academic setting such as a report on sustainable development strategies, you might say, "Our company has partnered with indigenous communities to develop eco-friendly initiatives that respect their traditional knowledge and ways of life." In this context, The word indigenous is used in a professional capacity to refer to native people who are often involved in local decision-making processes and possess valuable expertise on environmental management. So you want to know about a term that describes people who have been living in their homelands for thousands of years? Well, they're communities who have their own distinct languages, cultures, and traditions that are closely tied to the land where they've always lived. These groups often have strong connections to their ancestors' ways of life and have maintained unique customs and practices over time. They might be the original inhabitants of a particular region or island, with histories dating back before the arrival of outsiders who later settled there. Think of it like this. If you're talking about the people who've been living in Australia since long before European settlers arrived, or the Native American communities in North America that have been there for centuries, that's what we mean by a specific type of community.